Number 17, Kansas State at number 8, TCU.
Great matchup in the Big 12. Just like the previous one we were just talking about, these are the last two conference undefeateds in the Big 12. By the way, these conferences, and again, please go back and listen to Wednesday's podcast. That episode, I talked about divisions and why the Pac-12 and the Big 12 have it so much better this year and why these games are so much more interesting. And these two that I'm talking about right here are examples of that. Without divisions, these games are fantastic. TCU at home through this gauntlet, they just continue to play ranked team after ranked team after ranked team, and they don't flinch. Okay, so last week it was Oklahoma State. They are down. They face a deficit, and their quarterback, Max Duggan, just kind of willed them to victory. And I really love Duggan. And if you want to hear more of my thoughts on him and his story of perseverance, go back and listen to Monday's episode. TCU's favored by 3.5. You could see, like, is this gauntlet too much? Are they going to get tired? And if there's a team that can expose you when you're tired, isn't it kind of the methodical, sound play of Kansas State? And maybe that's the case, and I think that might be reflected in the line with TCU only favored by 3.5. I really love this quarterback battle because it's not just two veteran quarterbacks, but it's also guys that have overcome a lot in their career. Adrian Martinez for Kansas State, we kind of know what he's overcome. He transfers from Nebraska. It did not go well for him there. They turned it over too much. That whole era of Nebraska football is just, let's be honest, it was a disaster. He suffered from some injuries. He played through some injuries. The guy I respect a tremendous amount. And I love seeing him find success here on the other side down at Kansas State. I really do. Duggan is similar at TCU. Now, while he didn't transfer, this is a guy that played really well early in his career. And then once the COVID season is happening and myocarditis becomes a thing that we all know about, then all of a sudden everyone gets checked. They get an EKG and they find a heart issue with him that he's had from birth, non-COVID related, that makes him have to go have a heart procedure as a young man. And he battles his way back onto the field and plays. And then Gary Patterson is let go from TCU. And so he gets a new coach and he stays. He doesn't transfer. And he loses his job. And he stays when Chandler Morris became the starter at the beginning of the season, and he just waits his time. And then Chandler Morris goes down in the first game of the year against Colorado, and all he's done is come out here and put himself in what I've seen some places is like in the top 10 in terms of Heisman odds. I love his story. Both of these young men have faced down adversity, and they're coming out of it on the other side. And I love that. I love that about this game. I love that about this matchup. So you've got these two veteran quarterbacks, Max Duggan and Adrian Martinez. You've got the best two rushing teams in the Big 12. But where it falls short for Kansas State is that they just do not have an offense that has another gear. I love Deuce Vaughn. I think he's one of my favorite players in the country. I think this guy is going to have a Sproles-esque NFL career. Again, love him. But outside of Adrian Martinez and Deuce Vaughn, they just don't have much. They're the 9th best scoring offense in the Big 12. I don't think that works. Not when you're going to face TCU, and TCU is at home. Remember, this TCU team led by their quarterback offensively is a bit of a juggernaut. Okay, they're the offense that would be right behind Ohio State and Tennessee. Did you know that? Did you know that they were number 3 in the country in total offense and scoring offense? That's going to be very difficult for Kansas State to overcome, in particular on the road. This is going to be the first in a 3-game stretch where we're going to find out everything we need to find out about Kansas State. Kansas State has TCU this week, then they've got Oklahoma State, then they've got Texas. All right? So if they're going to be for real, if that team is going to be a team that's going to make a run to the Big 12 title, we're going to find out this week. This week is where their season starts. So Adrian Martinez is going to have to play his best game. Deuce Vaughn is going to have to play his best game. And they're going to have to hope that Max Duggan and that TCU offense have an off day. TCU's favored by 3.5. I think that they win this game. I think they win it by more than the 3.5. And I think that they continue to build towards a Big 12 championship game appearance. If they win this game, similar to that Pac-12 matchup I was just talking about, boy, they're in a good position with a 1-game lead over essentially everybody in the conference. All right, next up.
Number 20, Texas. At number 11, Oklahoma State.
So Oklahoma State's trying to bounce back after that loss last week on the road to TCU. And Texas is going to have to try to find the same level of play that they had in the first quarter against Alabama and during the entire game against Oklahoma. Here's what we've seen from Texas, okay? And I've been effusive in my praise of Texas, and you all know that. And yet we've seen from this Texas team similar patterns to what we've seen in prior years, which is play really well and play really poorly. I did not feel like they played well, albeit in a win against Iowa State. Now, the difference might be that this year they play poorly and they still win. Now, they didn't against Texas Tech, and so they've got the 2 losses and the 1 loss in conference. But at least they won last week. And I don't think Iowa State is great, but at least Texas was able to win the game. And I think that that's an important distinction when you're looking at what their history has been over the last couple of years. Normally what you've seen is they play really well and they get a win and they get all this buzz and everyone jumps on the bandwagon, and then they play poorly and lose. And they didn't. You've heard me say, and I'll say it again, with Quinn Ewers as their starting quarterback, I think that team's really good. I think that they're really good. I think that their defense is actually underrated. When you look at the Big 12 in terms of total defense, Texas is the 2nd total defense in the Big 12. Oklahoma State is 8th. So there's a clear distinction there. We saw Oklahoma State not play well on the defensive side late in that game against TCU, and they're going to be facing a much better quarterback. Big games, in particular ranked matchups, typically come down to quarterback play. There is a huge advantage for Texas as far as quarterback play. Not that Spencer Sanders hasn't played well at times, but he's not fully healthy. And so if you look at his performance over the last 2 games, you'll see a quarterback that has not completed 50% of his passes. They are banged up physically around him. Jaden Bray, the wide receiver, Preston Wilson, the center. Those 2 guys not being on the field a week ago really hurt. Spencer Sanders, there was some doubt about whether he was going to be able to go. So we'll see if he's healthy this year. That matchup is not great for Oklahoma State because of the fact that while Spencer Sanders has an immense amount of experience, 39 games played, over 1,090 attempts in his career, he's also thrown 34 interceptions. So while Ewers is not experienced and only played in 4 games and only has 93 attempts total in his college career, we've seen him play to a much higher level just in those 4 games than we've seen from Spencer Sanders. In particular, right now, if you look at it as a snapshot, you'll see one quarterback trending up and the other quarterback trending down. And that's bad news for Oklahoma State. Texas is favored by 6.5. And I think that Texas wins, but that's a lot. That number's a lot. I don't know what I would do with that line. I would probably lay the 250 to win 100 on the money line. All right, so Texas is minus 250. I would probably risk the 250 to win 100 because I'm confident that Texas can win at Oklahoma State. In fact, the last time they went to Oklahoma State, they were able to get a win in the COVID year. That was the last loss that Oklahoma State had in Boone Pickens Stadium. The one thing I will say for Oklahoma State is they can get after it on the defensive side as far as getting to the quarterback. They are leading the Big 12 in sacks. And if you're going to beat Texas, you've got to impact their quarterback, Quinn Ewers. That's what Bama was able to do. And you've got to get back there and cause him to be uncomfortable. So that's where I sit. I would lay the 250 and take Texas on the money line.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.